Once again, after school in the minivan, I begged my mom, please, please, can you legally change my name? It wouldn't be that hard, please. And once again, my mom said, no, Sarah. Every plan I had failed, and I was no closer to becoming white. As a last resort, I became a racist in my own house. I hated my dad because he was black. I would write, I hate dad, everywhere. I'd even carve it into the furniture. I would run out of the room when he came in. I insisted he not join us at church. That summer, when we went to visit my mom's family in England, I demanded he not come. He didn't. They said it was because of work, but I was convinced I had done my part. I can't imagine what my parents were going through at this point in time. I'm sure they hadn't banked on this. How could they have figured that the person who would have the most problems with their marriage would be their own daughter? But then in the 4th grade, I became best friends with a girl named Tammy. Tammy was black. Actually black. She didn't have any of the problems of a fake black person like me. Tammy was cool. She laughed with me in class, was the only girl other than me who played soccer with the guys, and we told each other everything. Me and Tammy started playing together after school and on weekends. One Friday, I was up at Tammy's playing in her front yard. It was me, Tammy, and Tammy's next door neighbor, Summer. I don't remember what we were playing, but I do remember me and Tammy winning and Summer getting really mad. Then she says to us with her perfect blonde hair and glaring blue eyes, "It don't matter if you won anyway, 'cause you're all niggers. My mommy says you're both niggers, and you're biracial." I had never heard this before. But I knew that by the way this girl was glaring and pointing at me, that for her, it was the worst thing to be. My dad came and picked me up, and on the ride home, I told him what had happened. Dad screeched on the brakes of the Toyota. I could feel the anger inside of him filling up the whole car. He turned to me and said, "If anyone ever calls you nigger again, you come and tell me." Okay. Inside my head, I'm thinking, don't worry, Dad. This girl didn't know what she was talking about. I'm not black. No one's gonna call me that again. After he dropped me off at home, Dad made a 3-hour trip to Kmart. Later that week, as Dad is driving me to the pool, he abruptly stops the Toyota again. He turns to me and says, "Here's a song you and Tammy should listen to. It's by one of the greatest, possibly the greatest, musicians of all time." Dad pushes play on the tape deck. James Brown's "I'm Black and I'm Proud" starts up. Oh God, he has clearly planned this. His head is bobbing, his face is beaming. I am shrinking in the passenger seat. In my head, I'm thinking, come on, Dad. I will never play this old music for Tammy. And anyway, why do you want me to be black and proud when I'm not really black? I don't say anything, which is not, I think, the response my dad wants, but the only one I can give. Dad starts up the car again, the Godfather of Soul still blaring as we reach the pool. I run out of the car, hoping no one sees or hears us. As I reach the gate of the pool, I turn around to see my dad waving. A smile covers his entire face. One weekend, Tammy invited me to spend the night with her. I was really excited, but nervous too. I had never been around Tammy's family all at the same time. They were so loud and so fat and so black. What if I didn't fit in? Tammy's house was nothing like mine. It smelled like grease and their cat Blackie. Seriously, their cat's name really was Blackie. As soon as I went into the kitchen, I saw where that smell of grease had come from. There were pans everywhere, all filled to the brim with white animal fat. I sat down at the dinner table. I was so nervous. It was Tammy's mom, her dad, her older sister Mandy, her younger brother Jerry, Tammy, and me. At the end of the table was a TV. That's right, a TV in the kitchen. We didn't have a TV in our whole house. Then Tammy's mom informed me that as a special treat, she had made buffalo wings. What? My mom never made meat anyway, but buffalo? I was not prepared for this. Buffalo wings. Buffalo wings? Buffaloes don't have wings. Or maybe they did. I searched my brain and came up with a picture of what I knew to be a buffalo and inserted 2 wings on his large, rough back. Nope, that wasn't right. In the middle of the table, Tammy's mom placed a plate of what looked like mini chicken wings, every inch covered in this bright red sauce. And next to that, she put a plate of white, store-bought bread. I watched Tammy and her family dig in. They all put these wings on their plates, poured on more red sauce, and sopped up the remains with the bread. They all seemed to be loving it. I tentatively took a wing and gingerly nibbled a little piece. Oh my God! I was immediately lifted to taste bud ecstasy. Where had this food of the gods come from? And this bread? White bread that I could nearly see through? Where had it been all my life? And then for dessert, we were allowed to have chips and pop and ice cream. It was the best meal I had ever had. Then, after dinner, Tammy's dad invited me and Tammy to go to the dog track with him. Tammy and I got into the back of Tammy's dad's van. It was covered in cream-colored velvet. There was a TV in there, too. And 2 huge speakers that made the whole van vibrate. The only thing Tammy's dad and mine had in common was their skin color. Tammy's dad's real name was Warren, but everyone called him Tree. He was insane. My dad's real name was Richard, and everyone called him Richard. He was a geek. Tammy's dad had this huge afro that he picked out, and he left the pick in his hair. My dad had a mini fro my mom cut every other week. Tammy's dad wore gold chains all over. The only jewelry my dad ever wore was his wedding ring. Tammy's dad wore sunglasses at night. My dad wore reading glasses in the day. Tammy's dad was 300 pounds. My dad tipped the scale at 145. Tammy's dad was hardcore. He smoked cigars and drank beer. My dad didn't drink and used an inhaler. Tammy's dad had had 3 heart attacks. My dad had had 3 asthma attacks.